Peace, fam. It's your brother Cool. Islam. Happy Holy Day. The real, as far as I'm concerned, the only true holy day that exists for us as melanated beings, copper beings, carbon beings. Friday represents the day of Venus. Ancient name of which is Anail. Ancient name for Venus, the planet of copper. Alright, so if you melanated, Friday is always a holy day for you. You feel what I'm saying? This particular video, I want to talk about the fact that, a lot of us as Moors, we don't really talk to each other. We don't spend a lot of time really conversing with each other to comprehend each other's point of view. You know what I'm saying? I feel like more so it's still along the lines of debating, going back and forth, trying to disprove, truth. And I don't see the point of that. I actually see it as a it actually puts us back and pushes us back, in terms of our progression moving forward. So I don't see the point in that. I don't really see that as I don't really see it as building. See what I'm saying? So with that being said, everyone in this day and age now is woke, if not waking still. And, we're getting back into who we are as a people. Not as persons, but people. And, this journey has been pretty interesting for me. Because everything that I've studied about more science and who we are as people, what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought to us, everything has been actualized to me in real time. So it's not like I'm reading the information and it's just like something I read. It's not something that I'm actualizing or that I'm actually utilizing here in the now, which I am. So that's proof for me that everything that I've researched and the conclusions that I've made from my research is true and exact because I'm living it and it's being reflected in the system. Those things which I have studied. So that's confirmation. That's confirmation for me. Keep losing my step here. That's confirmation for me that it's real. It's very real. And it's just dependent upon what you're going to put into it. Because you can't put nothing into your studies and expect to get the world back. It don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? It's called the laws of exchange. Equal exchange. You have to give in order to receive. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, the clarity in how government works is so clear now, and it's getting clearer by the day. But it's clear. It's crystal clear. So that being said, it's gonna go get on right into it. Everyone wants to declare their nationality. Everybody wants to put their trust in place. Everyone wants to get themselves right and exact. And as your brother, what I am telling you is, if we're going to get right and exact, then there's only one way to be right and exact. And that is to be right and exact. And that is to line yourself up according to the law as best as possible to what the Prophet brought us. And then to build and add to what he brought us. You see what I'm saying? Now, the question would be, well, how do you do that? How do you do that is really up to you. It's kind of like building Legos. If the Moorish Science Temple of America was a Lego collection that you got to put together. You know what I'm saying? You have different pieces that have different things. So you got to put the pieces together in order to see the whole puzzle. But you got to do that. Nobody can do that for you. Meaning you got to seek out the clarity to put those pieces together. And once you put that puzzle together, you will know how to move and exactly what you need to do to save yourself and your families. It's really that simple. It's not like What's the secret code? You know, everything's been laid out for us according to the law. There truly is a remedy for everything. But the only way you're going to find your remedies first is you have to come up out of the system. And when I say come up out of the system, I mean render back to Caesar's what is Caesar's. There was a point in time where I did a video where, you know, I updated and went into the system. I updated. I got the state ID. You know what I'm saying, in my free national name. But the one thing that I've learned from the experience is that those latches are a MF. Those latches are a real MF. So if you don't want to get yourself caught up in these adhesion contracts, not to say that you can't still be protected under the Constitution. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is to truly separate ourselves, to truly align ourselves up with the treaty, we got to be on opposite ends. Meaning, if the United States is domestic, then we got to be foreign. You see what I'm saying? And it's crazy because there's processes with every state where you can register as a foreign corporation or foreign nonprofit or foreign LLC or whatever type of entity you have constructed that you need to operate. And you have a charter in place. That charter is known as Articles of Organization. All right? Charter is also synonymous with proclamation. So, you know what I'm saying? When we're talking about, when the prophet's talking about proclaim your nationality, he's talking about proclaim it as a people. Draw up a charter. Draw up a constitution for yourselves as nationals that you will abide by. You know what I'm saying? Because our treaty is in place for us to do commerce, right? So then register with the Secretary of State as a foreign entity so you can do commerce. So you can be protected under constitutions and treaties. But y'all don't hear me though. Y'all don't hear me though. And mind you, you know what I'm saying, a few years ago, they'd be like, oh no, we don't want to associate at all with the state. But it's not really the state. It's the state of. The state is still a republic. And how these republics work is that every family or race of people, they create an organization for themselves as nationals. They draw up a charter for themselves, meaning the laws that they're going to govern themselves by in terms of their internal affairs. You understand what I'm saying? And that's that. Now they're protected. Now when any issues happen to them within that state, then it's known all the way up to the Secretary of State that this organization is here and in existence within the state. It has its own charter, aka constitution. It has its own bylaws. It's protected under international law. Also, it's protected under religious, under the Religious Corporation Act. And if you look up religion when it comes to law, we're talking about trust, deed of trust. So, Prophet was an amazing man, and all these things are here for us now. They're right in our face if we would just only open our eyes and look. And what we're looking for is really not that complex. What we're looking for is not that complicated. What we're looking for is really not out of our reach. It's in front of us the whole time. We just never see it. We just never see it. We never see it, never see it, never see it. And then, you know, alongside of that, putting the injunction. You see what I'm saying? But saving the nation is not about saving individuals. It's about saving families. It's about saving families. The babies, the mothers, and the fathers. It's about the families. You don't have nations without families. Families is the origin of nations. Okay? Familyhood is what nationhood is all about. So, if you're going to proclaim your nationality but then have no mindset to want to come together and formulate yourself into a family, aka a body, so you can come under your own constitutional protections in alignment with the Zodiac Constitution, you know what I'm saying, produced by C.M. Bay, Charles Moseley Bay in the Library of Congress, 1947, then you're not going to be in alignment. It's all about familyhood, okay? And then manifesting that familyhood into the political side, into the social side, which is what we call civics. Civics, which is basics of civilization. All right? But if you claim to be black and African American, then you are proclaiming to the world that you are not part of any civilization. And you know, I'm not playing games with semantics. Oh, you know, when we're so-called civilized when we take up European behaviors. No, I'm not talking about that. We were civilized before the Europeans. See, because we were the ones that civilized the Europeans. We were trying to bring them up to our standards of living. You see what I'm saying? So it's not us who are not civilized. However, if you continue to place yourself or identify yourself outside of the family of nations, then you are deemed as uncivilized. And therefore, there's a whole bunch of laws and codes and acts and ordinances that need to be put in place because you're like a child. So now all these training wheels need to be placed on you because you know you don't know how to steer the bike. You don't know how to maintain your balance. You don't know how to stay grounded. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how to curve. You don't know how to curve around the corners like a wheel on your square. You don't know how to do that. So therefore, all these things that be put in place for you. Seatbelt, speed limit, this, that. You know what I'm saying? Jaywalk. All these stupid, foolish things. When it comes down to having your community, your trust in place, organization. Remember, as indigenous peoples, autochthonous peoples, we have the right to create our own institutions and to protect our culture through our institutions. Ain't slavery, modern slavery today, institutionalized? So it would only make common sense that the best way to combat that is with your own institution, but not your own black institution, not your own colored institution, not your own artificial institution, but a religious institution for autochthonous people, meaning you want to keep it autochthonous. And I'm saying autochthonous because I choose to use that word over Aboriginal. Okay? Aboriginal means away from. Ab means away from the original. We are autochtons. We are the descendants of the autochtons. Okay? The forms may have been different, how we looked and things, but we as a consciousness were always here, and that has never changed. Okay? So we got to come together, but you got to know how to come together. You know what I'm saying? You can't fake the funk. You cannot fake the funk. The world is watching everybody right now. And the world knows who's faking the funk. It's important that you put yourself on the proper side of that treaty. Y'all don't even realize that treaty, I'm talking about the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the United States and Morocco, 1786. Y'all don't even realize that the treaty talks about ports. It talks about the ports of the ports of the Moorish Empire, then the ports of the Christian nation, and that our properties and our vessels, right, are to be respected when we cross these ports, so that we can trade and do commerce without our property and our customs and our traditions being violated. So now, if we're talking about ports, meaning what? The entryway into different jurisdictions. That's all you talk about when you're talking about a port. Okay? Now check this out. What do you think a passport is for? A passport. A document that registers what? Who you are. Your free national name. Your nationality. Being an autochthon. Now you have a pass so you can navigate through these different ports. So you see, if you don't have a passport, you're not in alignment with the treaty, because the treaty is talking about the ports of the Christian nations and the ports of the empire. What empire? The Moorish Empire. So this is what I'm saying when it's not really difficult, but you literally have to line up. If the treaty's talking about ports, you gotta start putting things together, like port, airport, you got a bus port. Normally to travel around the corporate states and to travel around the continental United States and other countries, you need a passport. So you can enter into the what? Different ports. So if you have a passport as a Moor, then that ties you with the treaty, because now you are a private national, autochthon, traveling amongst your land, operating in commerce with your constitutional protections in place via the treaty. You see what I'm saying? And you get to travel not only through the continental United States, but like I said, to other countries unmolested. And then you can even have safe haven, or what they call asylum, in any country. If shit go down here really bad, any Moor can get asylum anywhere. Can you say that about a black person, though? Can you say that about an African American? No, you cannot. No, you cannot. And the world is watching. And so we're seeing the manifestation of what's real and what is not real. Okay, so the concept that, because you can't have the concept that we're the original people, we're the creators of everything, right? You can't have the concept that European people or Caucasian people were created from us. They're a germ that manifested from us externally, right? They came from us, so they're a reflection of us. You can't have that understanding, but then at the same time, give the Caucasian all the credit when it comes to these laws that are in place. Where do you think they learned it from? The same way they learned how to bathe, shower, build beautiful cities, run electricity, clean fresh water, keep shit clean. Where did they learn these things from? Because they didn't just do it on their own. Right? So you can't have that same concept, but then say this is white man's law. It's you confusing the shit out of yourself. Your subconscious is on point, but your conscious is confused. Okay? You have to keep that in mind. If you understand we are the first people, then how the hell could the law come from the so-called Caucasian or the so-called white man? How could the law come from them if we understand that they came from us? Wouldn't you think that we would give them everything we got? No different than if you have a seed. You know what I'm saying? If you have a seed and you have a vast estate, wealth, you got property and all these things, you don't want to give that to your seed? No different. If they came from us, that means that was our seed. So we're looking at them like, yo, you know, we got you in a fucked up situation, so we kind of want to do the best we can to put you in the best situation to prosper, regardless of the fact that you're not even natural to this particular plane. That's on us, though. Nature ain't do that. That's on us. But we got to understand that. We got to understand that. So once again, this is not no white man's law. This is our law. So that we can function without having to do what? Go to war. Why put your family through war? We don't need to go to war. That's why our families wrote laws. Oh, well, how do you know they'll honor the treaty? You know what's so different between the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, unlike any of these other treaties that came after the fact, or the other treaties that came before the fact? You want to know what's the special thing about the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the United States and Morocco? There is no United States without Morocco. First. Second of all, that treaty is what allows immigrants, meaning people who are not autochthonous to these lands, to be here. So if you don't honor that treaty, that means everybody who's not autochthon to this land got to get the hell up out of here. You know what that's called? Deportation. That's what that means if they don't honor that treaty. So last time I checked, everything's still in place. Everybody's still here. Niggas still operating. Yeah, so last time I checked, they still function under that treaty. They doing what they supposed to do. You don't see the proclamations these mayors got in these different states talking about the Moors? Like, it's not any more saying anything out of their own mouth. They're telling you what they're visually seeing, what they're seeing manifest. And you're just looking at the same manifestation like, no, there's no way you could not pay taxes. Even though it's not about taxes, it's just like little minute things like there's no way you could not pay taxes. Well, why not? Why not if you know thyself? Why can't you? You don't know your power? That's not on me. We all have that divine power in us. We got to wake it up. You got to go inside you and wake it up and stop denying yourself for the truth. We are all Moors, man. Point blank and period. We are all Moors. This is Morocco, North, South, Central America. This is the Maghrib al-Aqsa. Morocco, the extreme west, heartland of the Moroccan Empire, the Moorish Empire. We are home. We are different. We are not like, and this is no disrespect, we are not like our African brothers and sisters over in so-called Africa. We are not them. Although we are one, we are not them. We are a different type of people over here in these in the Estados Americanos. All right, so we got to keep shit in perspective and keep ourselves in line with the law so that we can uphold the covenant. But forget what I'm saying. I'm just talking, right? I'm not making no type of sense, right? For those who don't have the ears to hear, I don't make no type of sense at all. But for those who know what I'm talking about, you know I make perfect sense. So it's time for everyone to get themselves right and stop looking for other people to get them right. We're all here to help in the process, but we're not here to do the work for you. No one came to do the work for me. I had to I'm still busting my ass to get things right and exact. And I'm learning as I go, right? Experience is the best teacher. So I don't have someone walking me through processes. I'm literally going in it, bumping my head, learning from the mistakes, going back in and get it right. That's how I've been learning for the past 6 years. And it's been progressive for me. Because once I get it, it sticks. It's in my DNA now. It can't be undone. And as I continue to evolve and go through these different processes, my DNA is changing back to who I originally was, which is a Moor. You are Moor. And it's not hard to find out if you're a Moor. You know how you know you're a Moor? If you have melanin. If you live by the divine laws of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. If you comprehend and understand the law and enforce your birthrights, enforce your constitutional protected rights, enforce your religion, protect your estate, pass the inheritance on to your heirs. If you're not living like that, you're not being native. You're not being native. You're not living to your own laws. So it's not about talking anymore. It's about being. Being. All right? Being. And that's all I got to say on that, fam. That's just what I wanted to share with y'all. You know, we do need to talk to each other more. We do need to talk to each other more. We need to communicate more. We need to have way more group study sessions. And I'm seriously working on putting that together. But I'm doing so many things while I'm doing so many things as I'm doing so many things. So trust me, I know for a fact when it's time for me to transition, I'm gonna have done a lot of things here. I'm gonna be proud of that. I'm proud of it now, but when I get to reflect back on that, that's gonna be pretty cool. So that being said, nationality is the order today. Do your research into passports. I understand why your passport is what's going to put you in alignment with the treaty. Not no state ID, not no driver's license. Because through experience, you know what I'm saying, registering an automobile underneath my tribe, getting the taxes off, because we are autochthonous, is beautiful. Got the tabs for free, got the plates on the car, it's registered underneath Sunna Republic. And the crazy part about all that is, found out more information. As natives, guess what? We can bring in our own plates. Bring in our own plates. See, but there's a process. You got to do the process, man. You can't cut corners. You can't just say I'm traveling and that's that. You don't notify nobody. You don't go through some type of process. We are civilized people, y'all. There's a process for everything. Just because you don't see it, don't mean it don't exist. There's a process. I can tell you these things because I'm living it. I'm experiencing these processes and watching them manifest before my very eyes. All right? So there is ways to do that. You can have your own plates and have it in the system. And guess what? When you bring in your own plates, they can't license or register it. But guess what they can do? They can update it and input it into the system to make sure that the VIN number matches the plates, your tribal plates. And that shows that it is underneath the jurisdiction of this particular entity, aka your trust. There's a process for everything. Look up title of application for vehicle. You'll see it clearly. For registered owner, there's a bracket where you can put either social security number for an individual or you can put an EIN number. There's a process for everything. Open your eyes and see it. We're moving past the issues of traveling and all these things. You know why? Because we're not fighting the system anymore. Because we're realizing that we can be ourselves in the system and have our foreign national status reflected in the system. That way we will actually see those protections be manifested. It won't be something we talk about. I'm pretty good on my balance. It won't be something we talk about. It'll actually be, you know, because my viewpoint is to get to the point where my daughter will look at me one day and say, pulled over, Dad, what does that mean, being stopped? What is that? That's what I want, because she'll never have experienced that. Because I'm going to make sure I'm lined up with the law, so that way she's lined up with the law. So that those things that I had to encounter to learn, so I can move past, she won't have to deal with those things. She can focus and move on to greater pastures. You feel me? And that's how we're supposed to be moving for our children. We got to get back on the ground. You can only learn so much just sitting there watching videos, taking notes, reading information. Now you got to get on the ground and put it into application and see what happens. You ain't doing nothing under fraudulent intents. You're learning as you go. Trust me. The prophet was right and exact. You come to them in an intelligent tone and see what they say. I've come in an intelligent tone, and I have not always liked what they have said. But everything they have said, they gave me some jewels. You get what I'm saying? They gave me some jewels to move forward. So now, I am your brother Ku, Moorish American, a Talkton to this land, Al-Maghrib Al-Aqsa, North, South, Central America, also known as Morocco, the Moorish Empire. This is Morocco. So y'all understand, this is the thing y'all understand as Moors. Morocco is wherever you go as a Moor. If you go to Australia as yourself, then guess what? You're not in Australia, you're in Morocco. I'm going to qualify why you're in Morocco. If I were to go to England, I'm not in England, and I have my passport, and I enter the port and travel to England. I'm not in England. I'm in Morocco. You want to know why? Because no matter where I go, as long as I'm living according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, I can only be tried and judged by one, my own people of my own nationality, and two, according to my laws of my ancient ancestors. You can't judge me according to codes, ordinances, statutes, special laws. General laws is what rocks over here. Ancient laws, treaty laws is what rocks over here. So until you choose to get yourself back on the winning side, then yeah, there's going to be plenty to say about Moors. Anyone who has an experience with what it is to truly be a Moor will have nothing but bad things to say, because you're not really putting the footwork. If you really put the work in, how could you not see the results? Because the facts are the facts. Don't you think that everyone who is speaking about this information can verify the facts because they have seen it manifest, what they have studied? what they have trained themselves on according to law, constitution, they have seen it manifest in real time, in this time. So that's the qualification that it is fact. And so now when anyone comes saying, more science is bullshit, this shit ain't real, it's the white man law. Yo, we done already tuned you out. You're mute to us. We can't hear you. Because all you're saying to us is you're not on the level. You're speaking nothing but babble. You're not on the level. You haven't studied to show yourself approved to get to that level or that degree of comprehension to where you can stand at 90 degrees. I gotta get this science right, man. But anyway, I'm your brother Cool. I love y'all. Happy holy day. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, remember our ancestors who suffered and got betrayed and got gamed on this so-called Thanksgiving Day. You know what I'm saying? The story behind that is, you know what I'm saying, the Europeans invited our ancestors over for dinner so that they can make well and, you know, try to make themselves seem like they were, you know, welcoming and stuff like that. You know what they did? They poisoned our ancestors. Right off the first bat. Right off drib. Poison. You know what I'm saying? So this is what we're celebrating. We're celebrating them poisoning our ancestors and taking over all our shit. I don't want to celebrate that because that is not a reflection of me. Okay? So I respect my ancestors. I love my ancestors. I would never do anything to disgrace them. Nor will I celebrate anything that disgraces them or laughs or makes mockery of them. All right? That's not love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So you got to be right and exact in all aspects. You can't choose to be right here and then you're going to let some shit slide over there. You got to be right and exact from 0 to 100. All right? So with that being said, I'm your brother Cool. Love y'all. Peace. Islam family.